Welcome to the Middle Room Workshop. Today I'm going to show you how to gain the lost power of your laser engraver. In doing so, I'm going to show you how to clean your laser module. Without further ado, let's get into it. We should all get into the habit of carrying out regular maintenance of our laser engraver. You know, like a car or a vehicle where we are changing the oil, the filters, the tires, the belt, and so on. In the very same way, we should take care of other piece of machinery, including our laser engraver. Now, I will not cover the type of maintenance that should be carried out in a laser engraver as a whole, but I will concentrate on the laser module today. Now, the laser module is the most important part of your laser engraver, and in most cases is also the most expensive component of your laser engraver. Now, if you've been noticing that you have a reduction in power, that means that, for example, you used to cut with some parameter, and now you are no longer able to cut with the same parameter. That means that you have a reduced power output, and this is actually a real thing. I mean, unless nothing went wrong with the software side or with other parts of your hardware, that means the motherboard or something else in between, chances are that the problem is your laser module. And actually the problem is nothing to be worried of. It is something related to cleanliness. So while you are cutting with your machine, the laser module will inevitably produce smoke in its process. And now, regardless of the amount of effort that you put in extinguishing that smoke, that means to put it out of the way. For example, you can have an air assist which pushes out, or you can have an exhaust system. A small amount of smoke will always make its way through into the module and into the actual optics. Now, the last lens, which makes part of the optics array of your laser module, which is actually the important part, which focuses the beam into the small tiny point that will then work into the surface, will be coated with a small micro layer of dirt. And it's not only dirt, but let's assume that it's simply dirt. Now, with the accumulation of this layer, there are two effects. Now, the first is that by making the last lens dirty, it's like, if I can make an analogous example, it's like when you have your eyeglasses dirty. So you may start seeing blurry. And so in the very same way, the layer is going to basically take up a little bit of the light and scatter it around, which means that is no longer creating that nice crisp focus spot, which is concentrating the power of your laser diode into the work that it has to perform. And so this is effectively reducing the power output of your laser. In fact, if you can measure the power output of your laser with a device, you will notice that you got an actual reduction. And so you will be perfectly right into thinking that the power of your laser is being reduced. The other thing, the other effect of this micro layer is actually degrading the optics. And that's because by having this micro layer, it means that one part of the light, it might be a very small amount, but one part of the beam of light that comes out is going to be absorbed, and the light that is being absorbed is going to be converted into heat, which means that in turn your lenses, in particular the last lens outside of the laser module, will overheat a little bit more, and this will basically reduce the lifespan of the lens itself. Over time, the lens will start to degrade a little bit, and so over time, the damage that is going to be caused by the dirt on the way of the lens is going to get permanent, because the clarity of the lens will be affected by this long staying, if I can say, long exposure to high temperature. So cleaning the lens and the laser module itself is very important. Now, the amount of dirt that is going to get into the way, as I said, is going to depend on whether or not you're using some tool, some system to extinguish that smoke. So if you have air assist, which is pushing downward, or if you have an exhaust system. What I noticed though is that a shorter module has a lower tendency to accumulate the dirt. In fact, you can see here I have this NEJE module. This is the A40640. Now, if you're following my channel or if you own this module, you know that this module is going to be at about 20 millimeters offset from the working surface. Okay, and so what that means is that there will be just enough space for the smoke to get out of the way, especially if you have, like I do, I normally use a blower which just blows across the working sheet, and so the smoke is simply getting away and very small amount get inside. The other thing is that the lens inside is like maybe 25 millimeters inward, and so which makes this good enough for the smoke not to generate in that spot. And then you have, you know, from your fan you have this down flushing stream of air, which is basically preventing the smoke to get inside. Okay, so there will be this differential in pressure which will not allow the smoke to easily get inside. While with lower profile, longer laser module or lower profile, that means that they are basically staying very close to the working surface, you will see that the amount of dirt that is generated inside, that is accumulated inside, is much higher. Now, I've already cleaned this Atomstack laser module, and in fact there is not much in there to see, and the lens itself is also relatively clean. However, if we have a look to this Aufero laser module, you can see that I have quite a lot of dirt accumulated there. Now, luckily for us, this is removable, which makes it much easier for us to clean in there. Again, here the down flushing stream of air generated by the fan that is located into the inside will basically almost eliminate chances for the smoke to make its way through, but this is something that is still possible. A little bit of smoke over time will still accumulate into the lens over there. Okay, now another thing that you might want to do is also to clean the laser module itself, and that's because the laser module, for most of them, as you can see, it acts like a heat sink. So this is basically dissipating the heat that is generated from the laser diode as it's working. And so the micro layer of dirt that is going to generate it will basically reduce the heat exchange capacity of the heat sink of this block of aluminum, basically. And so it is a good thing also to take in mind to basically from time to time clean that up. Now, without wasting any more time, let me very quickly show you how we can do that. I'll put these two laser modules out of the way. So we will concentrate in one of them, which is the one that I was planning on cleaning. And now, if you want to clean simply the lens, as I was explaining, you don't need to dismantle anything. But if you want to clean more detailed, you can go ahead and to take apart some of the components. Now, I will remove this front glass over here, just so that it's a little bit easier to get into the lens, but I will not take apart the top. I will rather clean it a little bit Now, what tool you will need? It actually takes nothing. You will need a couple of these cotton buds, this that you use to clean your ears. Another thing that you might want to have around, if you have it, otherwise you can simply blow on it. It's this blower for camera lenses. You can use this before to actually rub into the lens itself, so that you can get some of the dirt particle out of the way. So this will avoid that if there are dirt particles with a certain hardness, they can scratch the lens itself. Okay. Then you might want to use some alcohol, rubbing alcohol or isopropylic alcohol, like I do over here. And then obviously if you need to dismantle some parts, you will need some tool. They all depend on the type of balls, fasteners that are there. So you might need the Phillips screwdriver or a flathead screwdriver. In my particular case, I have hexagonal balls, so I'll get my small wall stick so that I can do that very easily. One thing that I can suggest you to do, if you have a blower, not a compressor, or if you have a compressor, do that with a very low pressure. You don't need much pressure to do that. It's to just blow across, okay? And in doing so, I would suggest you to keep the fan from spinning, to prevent it from spinning, so that we can avoid that electric current that might be generated might go back into the circuitry and damage some of the components, okay? So I will load it up. Now I have this blower from Parkside. This is a Lidl product, and it's not very strong, which is ideal for what I have to do. And now you don't normally want to blow in the same direction where the fan blows. You want to blow from the opposite side. However, you can do a little bit of assessment here and to see whether or not there is an easy way for the stream of air to make its way through. And so in my particular case, I see that I have the small circuitry there for half of the width, and then I have it free over here. And so in my case, I think that I can simply blow from the same direction. So I will hold it up. I will just turn this around. Okay, and now I will want to try this on the opposite side, again holding the fan steady. Alright, once I'm done with that, I can now go ahead and open up this inspection glass. Alright, so now I don't know if this can render with the light, but you can see that the clean part, which is the part that was basically touching the profile, and the dirty part. So it might not look so evident from the outside, but actually there is quite a bit of dust in there. And so if this is the case for the inspection lens, inspection glass, this will be the case for everything else on the inside here. Now, before to get into the lens itself, I will suggest you to basically try and clean as much as you can the aluminum block. Now, in doing so, you can basically use some wet wipes. Now, these are alcohol-based wet wipes, and I can do this with my finger as much as I can. If you want, you may use something just to get a little bit deeper. For example, I can get this flat head, and I can try to get a little bit deeper into the module without forcing anything, without pushing anything. You can see that there is a little bit of dirt coming out of there, so from time to time simply switch that to a cleaner part. Okay. So I will continue until I'm not happy with the cleaning. Once I'm done with that, I can simply stop. Okay. Let's now get into the core of this video, and that's the cleaning of the actual lens. Now, you shouldn't dismantle the lens unless you don't want to replace it, or unless you haven't been dismantling and you may think that there is some dirt inside there. Alright, so what I want to do for the lens first, as I said, is to take one of those blower, which is used for camera lenses, and just to blow into it like this. Okay. Alright, once we are done with that, we'll get one of these cotton buds. Now, this might get inside nicely, but if you want, you can reduce his size by simply taking a little bit of this cotton out of the way, so you can make it a little bit slimmer if you need to. Okay, and then I'm going to get my isopropylic alcohol. I actually can use the lid, since this is a spray type, and I can get this there. And now I can rub inside. Now don't apply pressure, it's not necessary. Okay, I'll do the same on the other side. Just to get this out. This time I'm not going to apply any alcohol, as I think I already put enough in there, and I will repeat the process, trying to clean. Try to also keep one direction so that you don't get the dirt back and forth. Okay, and I don't know if the camera renders that, but I can see a little bit of dirt there. I'll repeat the same once again, just to make this smaller a bit. Okay, now I have here a little bit of alcohol, so I will simply use that, and I will repeat this process until I'm not happy with it. Ultimately, I want to see this coming out clean, completely clean. And once I'm happy with that, I can run a couple of times a dry buds so that I can dry this out. Alright. Now I think that this is fairly enough. You should not be able to see big of a difference with the eyes, because, as I said, it's a micro layer and it's going to be pretty transparent, but you will see it, you will notice it in your cotton buds or whatever is it, or whatever it is that you've been using for the actual cleaning. Alright, so once I'm done with that, I can put everything back together. Or actually, let's not forget to clean this up. Okay. Oops. Alright, now your laser module should be pretty much good to go. Now, if you haven't had any permanent damages to the lens, you should get 100% of the power back. Now, obviously over time, the laser diode itself is degrading, but this is a topic for another video. And this is pretty much all. This is the way you do. So in a similar way you can do with any other laser module. Now, if you want to go crazier into cleaning detail, you can take the module apart. Just take care not to snap anything in the process of doing that, otherwise you will drawing up your laser module, obviously. And so you can then go ahead and clean from the inside. But if you take in the use of doing this every like dozens of hours like this, you shouldn't get that much of dirt accumulated into the inside, and so you should be good to go. The other thing is, once you do the job, let it stay for a while so that it can dry out if there is any residue of isopropylic alcohol, even though usually the isopropylic alcohol is evaporating really quick. And then you can put it back into your machine and give it a shot. This is all for today's video. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any comment, leave them in the comment section below. And if you want to see more video like this one, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Ciao for now!